Now we come to possibly one of the most famous parables of Jesus. Luke 10:25-37. On one occasion, an expert in the law stood up to test Jesus. "Teacher," he asked, "what must I do to inherit eternal life?" Jesus answered, "What's written in the law? How do you read it?" The man said, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." "You've answered correctly," Jesus replied. "Do this and you will live." But the man wanted to justify himself, so he asked Jesus, "All right then, who is my neighbor?" In reply, Jesus said, "A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, they beat him and went away, leaving him half dead. And a priest happened to be going down the same road, and when he saw the man, he passed by on the other side. And so too a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, as he travelled, came to where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. So he went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Next, he put the man on his own donkey. He brought him to an inn and took care of him. And the next day he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper. "Look after him," he said, "and when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have." So, Jesus asked, "Which of these 3 do you think was a good neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of the robbers?" The expert in the law replied, "The one who had mercy on him." Jesus told him, "Go and do likewise." There are so many things to note about this passage, and I can't cover them all. The priest and Levite were both devout Jewish people who should have helped the man, but they were either in a hurry or embarrassed or ashamed, or perhaps they thought it might be a trap. They were nevertheless not really listening to God. They just saw the man and walked by on the other side. Perhaps they had to go to a conference. They were like the religious leaders. They thought they were too important to get involved in a mugging. They knew the theory. They knew, love the Lord your God with all your heart and your soul, love your neighbor as yourself, but that's all theory. Let's leave that there. I don't know anything about that man. Let's not look at him. They were Jewish people. However, they basically left him to die, effectively. Now remember, the Jews and the Samaritans absolutely hated each other. They did not get on at all. And they didn't like to mix in public. They didn't like to be seen mixing with each other in public. It was a real, really tense time. And it was very shocking to the people to hear the parable that a Samaritan might show kindness to a Jewish man. It was unheard of. Nowadays, you might use another enemy's name in that place. I won't suggest any. You can fill the blanks yourself if you want to. But remember, it was shocking, and Jesus wanted to shock his listeners. We've sanitized it. The word Samaritan now seems like a good thing, but in those days it was a curse. But this total enemy, this supposedly cursed man, got off his donkey, picked the man up, tended his wounds, and put him back on his donkey, and led him to an inn. This man, when all the others had ignored the man who was wounded, this man did everything he should have done. Jesus is kind of saying, beware where you're looking. You might look into this area to find righteous people, but they can be anywhere. A stranger, a foreigner, an enemy could be a righteous person. Just beware. And the Samaritan paid for all the care the man needed. So he needed money, and he had the money, and he was prepared to spend it on the man's behalf. Prepared to give of himself, give of his resources to see the man set on the right path. This is actually far more radical than we realize now. Like I said, the word Samaritan has become a byword for a good person. This man wasn't seen to be a good person. He was seen to be an enemy. Remember that.